Good morning, hockey fans. This is Don coming to you live from Chris's YouTube channel. Um, I will be here with you for the first 10 or 15 minutes or so. Chris is our special guest on-ice announcer for the second-year Bantam celebration. So he will be going through a script for us after warm-ups today, and then he will be back on the mic during the game. So officials are on the ice, and we are waiting for the Aviators to take the ice here for this game against Williston. All right, guys, I will take this microphone off of mute here. Just coming to the end of warm-ups, trying to sort a few last-minute details out. Aviators coming off a couple tough last couple of games here. 3-0 loss in Devils Lake on Friday night, and then a bit more high scoring of a game yesterday against Mandan, losing that one 8-5. Taking on Williston here for the second time this year. Earlier we played them in a tournament. Actually, it was not a league game, so it didn't count. They were able to get the better of us in that one. It was pretty close for the most part. This should be a very winnable game. We are also celebrating our second-year Bantams here with a little bit of a ceremony before the game, player introductions, a few little interesting tidbits and such about each player. And then we will have a national anthem sung as well, and then we will get underway, and Chris will be back with you, and all will be right with the world. Until then, I will do my best to fill his shoes. We're looking to get some music set up here. So Chris is doing the on-ice announcing. I am going to basically read what he is saying so you guys are able to hear what it is we have to say, celebrating our second years here. Looks like we're just waiting to get started. I think they're having some trouble with the microphone. I know they did announcing in the previous game, so we all want it louder, but nothing goes off without a hitch, right? So that's a little better. Today, we celebrate a group of outstanding student athletes who have given their dedication, leadership, and heart to the Grand Forks Aviators. These Bantams have skated countless miles, shared unforgettable memories, and helped shape the culture of Grand Forks hockey, both on and off the ice. First up, Mason Fiala, son of Matt and Ashley Fiala, Kim and Steve Hagan. Mason will remember hotels with the boys. Second is Mason Fargo, son of John and Christina Fargo. Mason will remember hanging out with the fellas. Next up, we have number 11, Ryder Blasky, son of Nate and Christine Blasky. Ryder will remember all of the friends he has made, the time they have spent together. Next up, we have number 15, your captain, Nick Henderson. Nick's memory is winning the River City Spring Showcase in back-to-back years with some amazing coaches. Last up, we have number 16, Luke Nicholson, son of Adam and Jem Nicholson. Luke will remember attending Sport International and all of the hotel stays. As these second years take the ice for their final home game, let's show them our appreciation for their hard work, teamwork, and sportsmanship over the years. Next up, we have the national anthem, which is going to be sung by Brianna Tyson, the parent of Benson, one of our first-year players. All right. Huge thank you to Brianna for doing that for us today, making the memory and the day a little more special for everyone. So Chris is going to make his way back up here as we are almost ready for puck drop. Almost game time. And it looks like they got the music figured out. All right. Here we go. This is the final home game for these guys here. Huddling up the corner, pumping each other up, ready to make their way. Center ice for puck drop. Wearing the bands today is Steve Howe. He's one of the good guys here. So, all right, Chris is back. We are ready for puck drop. I will turn you over to him.
All right, folks, I'm back. Thanks, Don, for helping out there. We get underway, all 5 second-year Bantams out there for the Aviators. Williston with control here. They'll bring it down to the Aviators' end. Knocked away there by Nicholson. Gets it up to Fiala. Fiala bringing it in the zone down the far side. Gets through the defense. Sent into the post hard. We'll see if we get anything out of this. Looks like Fiala's up. A little bit slow, though. Limping gingerly a little bit on that right leg, it looks like, but now he's left leg, I guess it is, holding that knee a little bit, but Looks like he'll shake it off. We're going to face off here down in the Williston end. Seffi will take the face off. Out there with Kulak and Yana, it looks like. Lines will be a little messed up here until they get back to normal with the second year starting things out. Williston working this one out into the neutral zone. Benson will chase after right in front of his own bench. Sent over to Wyatt. Wyatt playing D here with Kulak moving up to forward. Sent over to Benson, up the wall, gets it up to Yana. Yana over to the near side, gets it to Kulak into the zone. Shots in on goaltender's off his angle there a little bit, but that puck rolls up and over the goal post. Williston gets control in their own zone. They'll work this one out to the blue line. Shower trying to steal that one away. Back comes Williston. Slips around the fence, shots in on. Saved there by Blake Baskai. Tending the net today for the Aviators. Williston works this one up to the top of the point, knocked out by Shower. Williston gets control. They're going to bring this one early, but that should be offsides, but nobody paying attention there. And back comes the Aviators. Blasky down the near side. Brings it into the zone. Shots in on. Stick broke there. Blade of his stick went on net. Puck went into the corner. Goaltender had to make a save on the blade. Fiala in there trying to steal this one away. Williston works it over to the far side. Berg putting the pressure on. Williston gets it to the middle. Down into the corner, defended there by Fiala and Green. Big hit below the goal line. Shots in on here through traffic, gets kicked away by Green. Big hit in the corner there. Shots in on right in the stomach of Blake, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. So intensity up right away out of the gate for both teams in this one. Big hits being thrown. Looks like we're settling back into our normal lines here. It'll be Nicholson out there with, looks like Owen Berg and Kulak. Henderson and Norby on defense. This one back. Daxon trying to get control of it. Sends it up the wall, but it got knocked down. Battle for it along the boards here still. Kulak sends it out into the neutral zone. Williston goes D to D. They'll send this one up the wall and far side. A little bit too far for the winger. Henderson steals it away. Williston able to keep it down in the zone. Blake drops it off for his defenseman. Daxon will send it up the wall. That's a little bit too hard for Berg. It comes out to the point. Williston will dump it right back down. Kulak chases after it down in the corner. Chips it up the wall. Gets it out to the point. Daxon stops that one before it gets in on Blake. And skates it out, feeds it over to Berg. Berg brings it in, runs into a couple players coming off the bench. Nicholson trying to steal this one away. Williston able to get it up the wall. Out to the point, but not out. Berg's able to backhand it down to Nicholson. Nicholson, right side, try to feed that one out front. Tied up in the corner. Mason Fargo in there as well. He loses an edge, gets it out to Yana though. Puck loose, picked up by Williston. They'll skate this out in the neutral zone. Shots in, hits Wyatt right in the chest. Puck rolls in down into the corner. Both players going into the boards hard. That was Benson that went in kind of awkward, but looks like he's up and fine. Sent over the near side, gets it to Mason Fargo. Tied up along the wall. Williston pushes it down low. Wyatt tries to chip it up the wall. Williston able to get control now. Stolen away by Fargo. Gets it up to Yana. Off of his skate though. Seffi pokes this one forward. Williston gets there first. They go to D, send one through the middle here. Back they come on the attack down the left side into the Aviators' end. Green comes over, tries to poke that one away. A big hit there from Blasky behind the net. Sent through the middle, tipped away by Minima. This one goes all the way down. Won't go for icing. They already called that off. Picked up by Williston. They feed it through the middle, off the mark. Stopped by Charlie at center ice. Gives it over to Fiala. He dumps it down in. Williston gets it back, sends it up the near side. Brought in the zone, dumped down in the corner. Fiala threatened to put a hit on. Big save there by Henderson. Blake went down below the goal line to stop the puck going around, but it went off the wall a little weird and kicked right out in front of his own net. Henderson there to sends this one up the wall, gets it to Shower. Shower through the middle off of Blasky's stick, goes into the zone. Williston gets there first. They send it behind the net. Fiala trying to put the pressure on. Same with Shower. Goes off a skate, comes out in the neutral zone. Henderson trying to get over to steal that off. Brought into the zone a little early. Still should have been offsides, but we'll play on here. Berg sends that one forward. A couple of Williston players. Berg trying to steal it away. Does push it into the zone, but couldn't quite get the handle on it. Off of Daxton's stick. Chips it forward down into the zone. Berg trying to chase after it. Williston able to go DDD behind the net. Now they'll work it up the near side. Good flow to this game. Not a lot of shots as of yet, but a lot of back and forth. Big hit from behind there. No call there. We'll play on. Nicholson down in the corner. Spins away. Hands off to Berg. Berg fires up and over the net. Comes out to the point far side. Kept in by Daxton at the blue line. Tried to fire that one in, but whiffed on it and elected just to dump it down the corner. Nicholson had it behind the net. Now Berg down there, but Williston will dig it out. They'll dump this one down. It'll go for icing. Ref. Coach wanted to talk to the ref about that hit, but the ref's not wanting to hear it, so we'll continue on here. Down to 11:23 to go in the first period. 0-0. Seffi to take the face off out there with Mason Fargo and Caden Yana. One back comes to Wyatt. Shots in on there by Benson. Tip down in the corner. Kenny Yana gets a little tip on that one. Send it on net. Goaltender had to be quick to make that save. Yana off the sidewall. Feeds up to the point. Gets it to Bai. Bai attempted one, but it got off a body into the far corner. Mason Fargo. High stick here. Looks like they did catch that high sticking on Seffi. We'll head all the way down to the Aviators' end for a face-off. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Go, 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 go. Thank you. Face off, one back by the Aviators. Sent up the wall by Seffi. Seffi chips this one up the wall. Gets it down into the corner. Tied up in the wall, sends it out front. Yana trying to get a poke at it. Wide open net. Fargo push one towards the net. Now sends another one off the side of the goaltender. Lots of action here as the Aviators put a push on. Fargo through his legs, sends it out front. Taken away by Williston. They'll chip this one out in the neutral zone. Wyatt tried to send that one over to Benson, whiffed on it. Williston player gets through, gets behind Blake in the back of the net. And a 1-0 lead here for Williston. They strike first with 10:28 remaining in the first period. Face off, one back here. Greener sends it forward. Dumps it down into the zone. Icing here called, and we'll head back down to the Aviators' end. I have to step away here for just a second, take my boy to the bathroom. Of course, he's got to go potty right in the middle of the period here. So I'm going to step away here. Unfortunately, won't see much of the action when I won't be on the call, but I'll be right back here in just a second. Big hit there. I'll try to put it somewhat at center ice. Hopefully we catch some of the action. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Thanks to Aaron Baskai there for filling in, helping fill in the game a little bit. That one's sent down, icing here on Williston. 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go, first period, 1-0 lead for Williston. Unfortunate misplay on the puck led to a partial breakaway there for Williston. They were able to poke one in the back of the net, and that's why, or how we got to the 1-0 lead here. Nicholson to take the face off, wins that one, pushes it towards the net, went off a couple bodies, feeds it out to the point. Henderson shot through traffic, goes wide. Kulak trying to chase it down, sends it over to the far side. Owen Berg will jump on it. He'll chip it back down in the corner, caught up in the skates there, Nicholson. Williston will get control, and they'll skate this one out of the zone. Tried to dump that one in. Berg hands it off to Nicholson. Nicholson far side. Gets bumped off the puck. Puck comes loose over here to Kulak, bouncing puck at center ice here. Williston will corral it. They'll send a shot towards the net, but it goes off of Henderson's skates. He ends up getting it behind the net. Lost the handle there for a second, but feeds it up the wall, gets it to Kulak. Kulak had his pocket picked. Williston dumps it down in the corner. They'll get on it first on the far side. Sent up to the point. Back down into the corner. Williston trying to feed that one out front. Henderson will grab this one. He'll skate out of the zone. Got it knocked off of his stick, but Nicholson follows up, dumps it down in the zone as the Aviators go for a change. Williston looking to stretch this one out. They'll get it down in the Aviators' end as the player's waiting at the blue line for it. Benson sends him to the middle, gets it over to Fargo. Fargo chipped it out in the neutral zone here. Now steals it back at the red line, brings it into the zone down the right side. Williston with control out of their own zone. Let's get it through the middle, backhand one up to the far side, into the zone. Benson chasing after it. Uses his big frame to shield the puck there. Sent up the wall, gets up to Fargo. Now over to Yana in the middle. Yana trying to cut through the defense, lost the hand on that one, got knocked down. Mason Fargo puts a big hit along the boards. Dumped in there by Williston off the shoulder of Wyatt By. Benson in the corner with it. Backhands went over to the far side. Caden Yana dumps it out of the zone all the way down to the Williston end. A couple of Aviators will go for a change here. Williston loops around in their own end with some speed coming out. Blasky tried to steal that away. Brought into the Aviators' end, down into the corner. Fiala steals that one away, but Williston gets it right back. They'll chip this one up the wall out to the point. Set up, blocked there by Blasky. Bouncing puck ends up going behind the net. Centering pass goes off of Blake's stick. Cleared out of there by Miedema out to the blue line, but not out. Williston with control, knocked away there by Miedema. Gets it over to Fiala. Fiala chips and goes around the defenseman, down into the corner. Williston will get there first, but Fiala tried to get a stick on it. Williston able to get it up the wall over here on the near side, now out of the zone. Blasky comes back to help out his defenseman, sends this one off the wall out into the neutral zone. Williston has to regroup. They dump it back down in. Stopped there by Green. Green sent through the middle, trying to hit Shower on this back side, but caught by a Williston player. Sent up the wall, gets it to Shower. He whiffed on that one. Miedema pushed up the wall, gets it to Nicholson, but Williston's able to turn it right back. Brought into the zone. Berg knocks a player off the puck. Picked up by Kulak. Brings it around to the far side. Comes up to the point. Williston will keep. Down the wall. Green chips him up the wall. Nicholson gets it out in the neutral zone. Williston still with control, though. Set up the wall. Chipped down in the Aviators' end. Picked up by Miedema. Over to his D partner, Green. Green up the wall. Gets up to Berg. Berg hands off to Nicholson. Nicholson brings it into the zone. Gets swallowed up right away, but Berg's able to chip it down deep. Big hit there by Berg, takes out a Williston player. Sent out to the point. Daxon corrals it. Sends one towards the net, stopped by the defenseman. Chipped out, picked up by Henderson. Tried to send it over to Daxon. Whiffed on that one. Changes his mind, sends one through the middle. Finds Seffi as she comes onto the ice. She chips one down into the zone. Williston recovers, and they'll bring this one right back up. Caden Yana, far side, try to poke that one away. Williston, high slot, shot sent on, rises up and over the net. Daxon ties up the Williston player behind the net. Still has it in his feet, chips it up, gets it to Fargo. Fargo off a skate, out into the blue line. They're out into the center ice here. Came back in, should have been offsides, but good for the Aviators. They were able to keep playing, get that one down into the Williston end. Mason Fargo along her boards, trying to steal this one away. Got the player pinned up. Yana comes in to help out. Puck comes loose. Williston has control. But somehow Mason Fargo lost his helmet down here to the right, and we automatically get a whistle for that. A little bit of talking here between the Williston player and Mason Fargo. Williston player will head to the box, so will Mason Fargo. Will stay 5-on-5. Looks like a couple roughing penalties, or a holding. Holding on Mason, roughing on Williston. I believe we'll get a face-off at center ice. Actually, we're going to head it down to the Williston end, right where the penalty happened. 2 minutes up on the board. Well, there was 2 minutes. They took that away. Obviously, they won't get out on any whistles until after 2 minutes. 4 minutes, 29 seconds to go in here, first period. Shots in on by Wyatt. Rebound there. Fiala couldn't quite get a stick on it. Pass sent through the middle, taken away by Wyatt. Misplayed that one a little bit. Williston gets it. They dump it in. They stay on side. Blake goes behind his own net, drops it off for Benson. Benson up the wall, trying to get it to Blasky. Came off the wall weird. Williston got control. Wide open out front with a Williston player. Got a backhand off. I'm not sure if Blake had to make the save on that or there was a stick lift. As this one's sent down, goaltender comes out to play it. Dangerous play there. Both his defensemen kind of abandoned him. He sent it over to the near side. Luckily for him, it didn't go out front. There's a shot sent on by Fiala. Gets blocked, I think, by Blasky. Comes out to the point. Wyatt by sends it down the wall, trying to get it to Shower. Got caught in his skates a little bit, and Williston will chip this one out, but out into their own bench, so we're going to face off back down in their end. 3:35 to go here, first period, 1-0 lead for Williston. Back and forth between these two teams, both teams getting some opportunities. It'll be the Nicholson line out there for the Aviators. Kulak and Berg with him. Looks like Miedema and Green on defense. Picked up by Berg in the slot. Lost the handle. Backhands it on. Goaltender kicks it away. Williston gathers this one up. Sends it through the middle. To the blue line. Picked up by Berg. Backhands it up the wall. Gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson sends it into the zone. Williston will get on it first. They loop around to the near side. Berg trying to steal that one away. Got in the way of the player. Miedema was able to get control. Berg sending it up front. Trying to hit Kulak, but stolen away by the defenseman of Williston. And back they come. Into the zone, shot sent on. Blake holds on to that one. Nobody around him. I can't even believe they allowed him to get a whistle. All of the Williston players were headed back to their bench in the neutral zone. But either way, we get a whistle and a face-off down in the Aviators' end with exactly 3 minutes to go here in this first period. Jordy Shower coming out to join Seffi's line with Mason Fargo in the box. One back by Williston. They send one off the wall down the sidewall. Shot sent on. That one goes wide and high. Comes over to the near side. Shower trying to poke that out. Seffi will get her stick on it down in the corner. Goes behind the net. Spins away from one check. Had her pocket pick. Shot sent on. Big save there by Blake. Another attempt. Goes right up and over his head. Just missing the far post. And this one sent down by Yana, who will probably go for icing. We're going to face out back down in the Aviators' end. So final game here, potentially the final home game ever for the second-year Bantams. If the Aviators can hold on to their current seeding spot, they would have a home game again sometime this weekend. But if not, they will be headed somewhere else to play. That is still undetermined at this point, but this could be the last time they don those sweaters here in Grand Forks. That one's sent around by Williston. Comes all the way out into the neutral zone. We did start on some dirty ice, so we will be getting a Zamboni break right after this. That shot was sent on. Blake had to stop that one. Hands it off to Henderson. He gets knocked off the puck. They send it out to the point. It'll come out of the zone. It comes right over to Blasky. Blasky feeds it to Fiala. Fiala down into the zone down the right side. Slows things up. Shots it on. Goaltender holds on to that one. No rebound in sight. And we're going to face off here in the near side of the Williston end. Minute 55 to go first period. 1-0 lead for Williston. Fiala's line out there for the Aviators. Blasky to his left, Shower to his right. Benson and Wyatt on defense. Down in the corner. Shower trying to tie him up. Fiala joins. Dumped over to the far side. Blasky will try to see off the wall. He's able to get there first. Works it off the wall. Got pocket pick there. And Williston will have control as they skate this one through the middle and now out in the neutral zone. Down the near side. Working on Wyatt. Gets around him. Backhanded up front. Stopped there by Wyatt. He's able to dump one over to the far corner. Williston will get on it first, but Wyatt staying with him. Seals him off against the wall. Wyatt will get control. Chips it over the near side. Gets it to Shower. Shower feeds one out to Benson. Benson slips around one guy. Lost the handle on the puck there. Feeds it over to Shower, but he got the puck taken away. Benson gathers it up, chips it back out. Trying to move this one forward, but it comes loose to Kulak as he comes off the bench. Dump back out. Blasky able to steal that one away, trying to get it out, but the ref in the way there. Kulak puts on a big hit. Stopped there by Blake behind his own net. Leaves it off for Benson. Benson sends it up the wall. One off a Berg stick, comes out of the neutral zone. Williston way off sides here. They bring that one in off sides. We get a whistle, and we're going to face off here on the near side. 44.7 seconds to go first period. Still 1-0 lead for Williston. Nicholson's line out there for the Aviators, out there with Kulak and Berg. Green and Miedema on defense. Big hit right here behind us. Arm goes up. Penalty coming to the Aviators. It'll be Kulak headed to the box. A roughing penalty here on Kulak. We'll head back down into the Aviators' end for a face-off. This will be a 5-on-4 power play here for Williston. 37 seconds remaining in the period. So they'll get about a minute, little less than a minute and a half of this on fresh ice as we come up for the second period. Nicholson to take the face-off for the Aviators. One back by Williston. Dump down the sidewall. Williston works it back out to the top. Down the sidewall. Back up top. Little pitch and catch. Shots in on through traffic. Big kick-out save there by Blake. Doesn't allow the player cutting in that would have had the wide open rebound. Centering pass in the high slot, comes out to the point. Dump down in the corner. Williston gets on it first. They work it over to the near side. Curls in, tries to cut it out front, stolen away there by Nicholson. He feeds it out to the point, but Wilson's able to keep it in. They dump it back down low. But that is the end of the first period, a 1-0 lead for Williston. Minute 23 still to go on the power play when we come back for the second period, but we are going to get some fresh ice. And we'll be back after just a short little break, about 10 to 15 minutes. Hopefully you can join us for the next two periods. All right, here we go. Teams headed back out on the ice. Aviators coming out first. Let's see how this second period goes. Lots of work for the Aviators to do here. They're only down 1 goal. Unfortunate misplay that led to a partial breakaway. Otherwise, Blake has stood tall on every other shot that he's faced. Goaltender for Williston playing well too here through the first 17 minutes. Shots showing in favor of Williston here, 12-7 after the first period. They did have a power play at the end of that period. They got started on, got a couple shots on, but we still have 1:23 to go on that power play. So Kulak will head back to the box at some point. So you see both teams getting legs stretched out, ready to go here for this second period. I'm not sure how this all works out for points, standings, all that fun stuff, but I believe since they're a West team, it doesn't really count, but we do have to play a certain amount of games versus teams in state. This is one of them, so this will be the last one against the West team, and then we play Grafton on Tuesday as a makeup game to go up there and play them, so we'll have to go up on Tuesday to do that one, get that taken care of. And then after that, we'll find out the seedings, find out who the opponent will be for the play-in game. Winner moves on, loser is done for the year. So Aviators trying to keep themselves in the spot where they can stay home to play that game. That lost to Devil's Lake on Friday hurt quite a bit. I think that evened things up. I'm not sure who Devil's Lake still had to play, if they had to play anybody out of the East or if they were just playing other games. But a win on Tuesday against Grafton would almost seal up a home field advantage for that first play-in game. Otherwise, a loss, I would think they'd be moving on to play in Devil's Lake. I'm hearing that that's probably the likely opponent either way. It just depends on if it's at home or away. As the second period gets underway, here's an opportunity for Williston. They work this one out front, get a shot off, pushing that one wide, picked up by Henderson. He'll clear this one out himself down the near side. Sends it off the wall, cuts to the middle, trying to get through the defense. Last guy finally knocks it away. Blows a tire down there. Williston still with control, though. They'll send it off the back of the net to the far side. They'll work it back down low. Still about 40 seconds to go here on the power play for Williston. Daxton keeps the zone, slides it down low. Down he goes. Tripping call here on Williston. This will even things up for the next 36 seconds. We'll play 4-on-4. And then it will be a power play for the Aviators. So Williston guilty of a tripping call. They'll lose a man here for the next 2 minutes. We'll play 4-on-4 now. It'll be Jordy Schauer and Owen Berg as the forwards, Benson and Wyatt at defense. 36 seconds still to go on the penalty to Kulak, and then he will get out, and we'll be 5-on-4 power play here for the Aviators. Pushed over to the sidewall. Williston gets control. They'll skate this one out in the neutral zone. Bouncing puck corralled here by Wyatt. Hands it off to Schauer. He gets swallowed up and taken down. Berg knocks that puck up in the air. Bouncing puck here. Pushed up by Benson. Gets it to the defenseman of Williston. They'll send it over the far side. That goes off a Wyatt stick. He'll skate this one up. Brings it down to the zone. Gets knocked off the puck. Williston sends it over the near side. Centering pass off the mark. It leads to a partial breakaway here. Benson can get back. Big save there by Blake, making a second save too. Staying in good position there to make the second save as this one's pushed out into the neutral zone. So Aviators back to full strength. 5-on-4 power play here for the next minute 17. Schauer pushes that one down below the goal line. Hayden Yana putting the pressure on down in the corner. Berg will chase after it. Same with Seffi. Sent up the wall. Comes up to the point. Charlie's able to knock it down. Seffi got control, but it got knocked off of her stick and up and out of play in the Aviators bench. Looks like we're going to face off down in the Williston end here. It's about a minute to go on the power play here for the Aviators. 15-13 to go in the second period. A 1-0 lead for Williston. Seffi to take the face-off out there with Mason Fargo and Cade Yana. Face-off one back by Williston. They go behind their own net. They'll send this one up the glass. Right onto their winger's stick. He'll skate this one down to the Aviators' end. Try to dump it down in the corner. It'll come to Easton Green. He'll send it off the wall. Gets up to Mason Fargo. Centering pass gets taken away and dumped back down by Williston. They'll get on this one first on the near side. They'll push it down below the goal line. Picked up by Easton Green again. He feeds it up to Yana. Yana centering pass gets to Mason Fargo. Chips and goes around the defenseman, trying to beat the other defenseman there. Williston able to get there first. They bring it around to the far side where it's knocked down by Seffi. Bouncing puck in the circle here. Shots in on by Seffi. Gets partially blocked. Mason Fargo trying to get his arm loose here. Comes to Seffi. Shots it on. Another shot sit on. Gets blocked. That defenseman out front got hit twice. That's why you see him slam his stick over to Green. Shot on through traffic, but right into the belly of the goaltender. He'll hold on, and we'll get a face-off down the Williston end. Only 4 seconds to go on this power play for the Aviators. But an offensive zone face-off here. They'll have to be careful as that player comes out of the bench. If Williston wins this face-off, Daxton's going to have to retreat here right away, as they'll have someone behind the defense. Face-off, one back. Williston trying to clear. Daxton's going to slide up, keep this one in the zone. Misplayed that one a little bit. Comes up the blue line, but is able to keep it in. Gets to Kulak. Kulak high slot, shots it on. Goaltender makes the save. 5-on-5 hockey as Williston gets their player back. Henderson shots it on. Goaltender makes the save. Able to hold on to that one as well. We're going to face off here in the Williston end, but Williston able to kill that penalty. Get back to 5-on-5. 14 minutes left to go in here in the second period. Williston gets a late change here. Nicholson to take the face-off for the Aviators. Wins that one back, comes right to Henderson. Shot sent on through traffic, didn't make it through all the bodies. Gets cleared out by Williston. This one will go all the way down for icing, unless Henderson can get a boost, but not enough. And we'll head back down to the Williston end for another face-off here on the near side. So Nicholson take the face off again out there with Kulak and Berg. Be Henderson and Norby on defense. Nicholson looking to win this one back to Henderson again. Comes over to Berg along the sidewall. Nicholson in there as well. Berg will dig it out. Skates it to the slot. Backhands one, trying to get it back to Nicholson. Comes up to the point, goes off the Daxton skate. Picked up by Kulak. Kulak sticking those feeds one towards the net. Goes through everybody over to the near side. Williston will get on it first. Centering pass goes off of Kulak's skate to the far side. Williston will get this one out in the neutral zone. They send one over to the near side here. Picked up, brought in the zone, dumped down in, but they'll say offsides. We're going to face off right here outside of the Aviators' defensive end. So Fiala line comes out for the Aviators, out there with Blasky and Shower. Benson and Wyatt on defense. One over to the near side, trying to get control of it. Fiala chips it up the wall. He'll behind the defense here. Lost the handle on a little bit. Chipped up the wall. Shower will grab it. Feeds it down to Fiala down low. Fiala behind the net. Got bodied off the puck. Setting up the wall here. Benson retreats. Shower keeps. Dumps it back down. Brings around to the near side. Blasky steals off the wall. Williston able to feed that one through the middle. Misplayed there. It comes right loose to Benson. He turns. Fires that one back towards his bench, but Williston was able to snag that one away, and they work it back down towards the Aviators' end, but backhanded clear out of there by Fiala. Comes right to the defenseman for Williston. Williston got that one to the line. Keep it in the zone here. They work it to the slot. Backhand one down in the corner. Benson will chase after it. Picks it up, feeds it up the wall, gets his Shower, handcuffed him a little bit. Williston able to pick that one up. Shot set on, goes up and over Blake. Benson sends it up the wall, gets it to Blasky. Blasky, he couldn't quite play that one correctly. It comes loose over to Shower on the far side. He'll send one off the glass. That goes off the player off the bench. There should be too many men on the ice. Looks like they will catch it as the player was jumping over. The stick touched it. Not by choice, but it did. So that leads to too many men and a power play for the Aviators. Well, that faces off one back. Miedema sends it over to Green. Green dumps it down low. 5-on-4 power play here. Seffi feeds it back down low to Fargo. Fargo back on to Seffi, went off of her skate. Nice play there by Fargo and Seffi. Here's a shot sent on by Green. Goes off the defenseman in front of him, but bounces over to the far corner. Williston trying to clear this one up the wall. They'll dump this one down. Looks like it will just miss Blake and go down for icing. But we'll head back down for a face-off. So 1:32 left to go here on the power play for the Aviators. Nicholson's line comes out to take the face-off. Bird knocked off of his stick, comes out to Henderson. Henderson sends to Daxon at the blue line. Turns, fires, goes off the goaltender's stick, knocks down into the near side corner. Chipped out here by Williston. This one's going to go all the way down once again for icing. Daxon kind of looked that one off like he was going to send it down the sidewall. Decided to shoot. I think it surprised the goaltender a little bit. Goaltender kind of jumped up to make a blocker save. It went off the stick, tipped down. Didn't miss by much. Nicholson will take the face off here. Tied up at the dot. Williston will get control. Let's get this one up to the blue line. Just chip it out over by their bench. Daxon will send it up the wall, trying to get it back to Kulak. Williston will get control at their own blue line. They chip it up the wall. Daxon follows it up, but the referee got no way. Henderson has to come over to help out. He'll chip this one up to the blue line. Gets it out. Kulak chases it down. Sends it off the wall. Gets it up to Nicholson. Chipped into the zone. Nicholson will chase it down. About 50 seconds to go on the power play. Berg trying to dig it loose. Nicholson gets it. Sends it up the wall to Henderson. Henderson makes a move. Brings it in. Shots it on. Goaltender makes a save. Leaves a big rebound out there, but Nicholson or Berg couldn't quite get a stick on it. Sent out to the point, but not out. Over to Kulak. Kulak sets up. Shots saved. Berg out to Kulak. Now to Daxon. Daxon shots it on. Goes wide. Henderson slides down. Keeps it in. Works it down the wall. Gives it off to Berg. Berg fires. Sends one to Nicholson. Nicholson behind the net. Trying to send it out front. Comes back over to Henderson on the near side. Sends it out to Berg out front, or out top. Shot sent on, gets blocked, comes out in the neutral zone. Only about 8 seconds left on the power play. A couple of Aviators get a change. Henderson lost the handle on it. Another arm up. Penalty coming here to Williston as they'll touch that one at center ice. Blake was headed off the ice. And we'll go back down into the Williston end for a face-off as we see a Williston player headed to the box here. Looks like a cross-checking call. The Aviators going right back on the power play. Shots tied up 14-14. 5-on-4 power play here for the Aviators. 10 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in this second period. Williston has a 1-0 lead. Fiala comes out to take the face-off out there with Shower and Blasky. One over to the wall, gets the Shower out to By at the point. He gets blown up at the blue line. Williston will gain control. They'll bring this one down in. Misplayed there. Big hit by Benson, gets redemption on for the By hit. Even things up, but we're going to face off down here in the Aviators' end. So just 13 seconds ticking off the power play there for the Aviators. They all to take the face off. One back, gets this one to Benson. Benson rings it around to the far side, gets the Shower tipped off of his stick. Williston grabs control. They push this one up the wall. It'll be picked up by Fiala. He cuts to the middle, lost the handle on it. Williston able to dump it down. That'll go for icing. So we'll head back down to the Williston end for a face-off. 1:31 to go on the power play. Offensive zone face-off coming here for the Aviators. Henderson and Benson on defense. They got the big guns out there at defense. Fiala to take the face-off. Tied up. One by Williston. They'll skate this one out. Stopped there by Benson. Picked up by Blasky. Blasky over to Henderson. Henderson sends it over to Fiala, but picked off here by Williston. Picked up by Blasky as he come out of his zone. Brings him to the zone. Down the right side. Feeds one in the middle. Gets a Shower. Shower shots it on goaltender. Made the save. Looked behind him, but it was in his glove the whole time, or sitting on top of the pad, rather. We'll get a face-off here down in the Williston end. Looks like far side there. We've got a minute and 9 seconds still to go on the power play here for the Aviators. 9:19 remaining in the second period. Fiala to take the face-off. Tied up, one back by Williston. Shower trying to steal this one away in the corner. Digs it loose, works it up to the point, gets to Henderson. Henderson over to Benson. Benson walks it down, shot. Benson gets blocked. That one stung. Number 14 can barely see on that skate as Benson still has control. Feeds it over the far side to Shower. Shower shot Sinan gets blocked. Picked up by Blasky. Blasky over to Benson. Benson shot Sinan. Goaltender just got a blocker on that one. Had some space to shoot. Benson dumps it down in the corner. This one will be dumped out but kept in by Fiala at the line. Blasky with it. Sets up, takes a shot. That one goes up over the net. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Off of Fiala, chipped out into the neutral zone, right on to Benson's stick. Fiala brings it into the zone, cuts to the middle, feeds it over to Shower. Shower lost the handle on it. Rolls in on the goaltender. He elects to just cover this up. Aviators getting some solid shots on there. But can't get one past the Williston goalie yet. Still 17 seconds left to go on the power play. It'll be Seppi's line coming out for the Aviators out there with Yana and Fargo. Henderson and Norby on defense. Caught up in the thing here. Here's Fargo trying to get a handle on it. Yana leans on the player. Comes to Fargo. Fargo works it out front. Off the body. Seppi sends a shot. That doesn't make it to the net. Seppi sends it out front. Went off the back of that stuff attempt. Fargo trying to poke at it. Williston gets their player out of the box. Henderson sends a shot on. That one goes wide. Seppi trying to poke it out front. Seppi trying to stuff it. Gets one out front, but Williston able to clear it out. This one will come out in the neutral zone. Henderson will steal it away. Williston will get control, though. Now bring it down the Aviators' end as we're back 5-on-5. Battle for it in the corner. Daxton getting shoved there a little bit. Comes out to the point. Fargo's able to get rid of it. Arm goes up as Fargo got one to the face. We get a whistle. We'll head back on the power play. So Williston taking all the penalties so far here in the second period as we reach the halfway point. 7:41 to go here. 2-minute power play. Back up on the board. Aviators with the man advantage. They'll get a face-off here down in the Williston end. Coach wanting to talk to the referee about it, which is giving Coach Blasky a free timeout right here. Now the referee asks the team down for the face-off. So it'll be Nicholson's line out there for the Aviators, out there with Kulak and Berg. This one back. Berg hands it off to Henderson. Henderson over to Daxton. Daxton walks it in, shot sent on. Gets blocked by the defenseman, picked up by Berg. Berg out of the corner, lost the handle. Puck loose there, bounces in on the goaltender. Kulak gets absolutely drilled from behind here. Cooler heads prevail, though, and looks like we won't get any added penalties to it. All right, Nicholson to take the face off again. Tied up. Comes to Kulak. Kulak back to Daxton. Daxton shot sent on. Gets partially blocked. Knocked away there by Kulak. Keeps the puck in the zone. Williston gets on it. They try to set up the wall, but sealed off by Berg. Out to Nicholson. Nicholson gets a shot off. Hits the side of the net. Kulak trying to steal it away. Now Nicholson trying to get it back. Send up the glass. Comes out to the point. Stopped there by Daxton. Sends it over the near side. Gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson with it, dumps it down in the corner. Behind the net, Kulak goes behind the net, picks it up. Centering pass, just jumped over the stick. Daxton tried to take a shot, whiffed on that one. Down in the corner, sent up the wall. Daxton keeps it in along the wall. Nicholson trying to dig it out. Daxton will have it, lost the edge there. Nicholson ties up his guy in the corner. Comes loose to Berg. Berg lost the handle, backhands into Nicholson. Nicholson sends up the wall to Daxton. Daxton tried to get a shot off, got bumped there. Williston will get control and back they come. About 50 seconds left on the power play here. Slips around Henderson, brings it in on Blake, but Blake stands tall, covering that one up, making a big save there. Oh, Williston opportunistic there. One-on-one, able to slip around one of the best defensemen on the team. This Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. Bouncing puck. Gets kicked over to the far corner. It'll be picked up by Shower. Still 40 seconds to go on the power play here for the Aviators. They send one up the wall. Gets it to Blasky. Blasky in. Has Fiala coming in on the near side. Feeds it through. Gets it to Shower. Shower trying to backhand one out. Loose puck. Not sure why we got a whistle there. It was loose. I guess the ref lost sight of it. And we'll get a face-off down low here in the Williston end with 29 seconds to go on this power play. 6 minutes and 9 seconds to go here in the second period. Still 1-0 lead for Williston. One back by Williston. They send it off the glass, comes up to the point. Charlie keeps that one in, caught up in his feet, finds it, gives it off to Shower. Back to Miedema. Miedema sends one over to Blasky. Blasky shots it on. That one didn't miss by much. That one comes off the glass weird, jumps over Charlie's stick all the way down, picked up by Blake. Blake sends one up the wall. Williston able to chip this one down behind the net where it'll be picked up by Shower. He's changed his course, slips away from one Williston player. Skates this one through neutral ice, brings it into the zone. Drops it off for Blasky. Fiala actually will send this one down low. Jumps over Shower's stick. Williston will get on it. They're back to 5-on-5. That one's knocked down by Miedema. Fiala comes over, makes a big hit along the wall. Comes loose down to Green in his own zone. Skates it out into neutral ice. Lost the handle on that one. Wilson will dump this one right back in where it's gloved by Miedema. He'll bounce it off the wall over to the far side, but Wilson gets control. They feed it out to the point. Shots in on through traffic, whistles by Blake's head and comes all the way out into neutral ice. Williston will send this one through and back down in. This should go for icing, and it will. We'll get the whistle here, and we'll head back down into the Williston for a face-off. So Aviators getting some opportunities there on the power play. Unable to get one in the back of the net, but way more aggressive than they've been on the power play in the last few weeks. But still a 1-0 lead for Williston. Only 4:57 to go here in the second period. Seppi to take the face-off. Mason and Caden Yana out there as the wingers. Wyatt by Benson Baum at defense. Seppi to take the face-off. Tied up at the dot. Fargo comes in to help out. Williston gets control. They try to send one right through the middle. That went off of Seppi. And then now dumped all the way down. Benson's going to chase after as there's no ice. Picked up by Benson. Goes behind his own net. Has some speed. Lost the handle on it. Slows up. Gets it up to Fargo. Shots in on there by Williston. Stopped by Seppi. She has control in the corner. Goes behind her own net. Sends a bouncing puck up to Yana. Yana trying to settle this one down. Looks like Williston will get control, but a nice spin around poke check there by Wyatt. Knocked it away. Seppi will get a control of it down below the goal line. Trying to get a handle on this one. Lost it. A little back and forth here as Fargo tries to chip this one out. Looks like he will get out in the neutral zone. Sent back up the wall. Comes loose to Benson. Benson cuts it to the middle. Knocked off of his stick. Williston will dump this one in. Far side. Seppi will go after it. Gets bumped before she gets to the puck there. Big hit by Mason Fargo. Seppi sends it out to the point, but not out. Goes off of Fargo's stick, and he's able to chip this one out into the neutral zone. As Williston sends it to the near side, trying to go back on the tack, but Wyatt saw that one, knocked it away, and that's an offsides on Williston. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Here in the second period, a 1-0 lead for Williston. Aviators now out shooting Williston thanks to those power plays, 20-15. But it's Williston with the 1-0 lead. Far side, they'll dump this one in. Goes behind the net. Goes all the way over to Berg on the near side. He centers one. That's off the mark. Williston will keep this one in. Shots it on. Glove there by Blake. He'll hold on, and we're going to face off down in the Aviators' end. So Nicholson to take the face-off for the Aviators in his own end. One back by Williston. They send it to the point. Misplayed there. It comes out of the neutral zone. Kulak trying to steal it away. Does knock it away. Picked up by Berg. Berg brings it in down the right side. Tried to leave one off for Nicholson. That got picked off by Williston. They'll send it back out in the neutral zone. Working on Henderson. He steals it away. Carries it himself. Works it down the far side. Has way more speed than this defenseman. Gets around him. Brings it in all alone on the goaltender. Tried to go backhand. Bouncing puck. Here's Henderson again. Shots it on. Back of the net. The captain. The second year. Nick Henderson leading the team, finding the back of the net, tying this one up 1-1 with 3 minutes to play here in the second period. Big effort there from Nick, picking that puck off in his own end, taking the end of the ice, seeing that he could beat the defenseman, getting the shot on, creating the opportunity, finding it again, finding the back of the net. Tying this one up at 1. Niederbach chips it up the wall. Williston works it out of the zone again. Send one through the middle. Miedemann will grab this one on his own blue line. Skates it forward, gets it up to Fiala, dumps it down in. Williston sends it up the wall. Miedemann stops it at the blue line. Backhands one right through the middle. Gets to Blasky, turnaround shot, sent on. Goaltender makes the save. Holds on to that one right before Fiala could get a swing at it. And we're going to face off down here in the Williston end. So Fiala's line out there for the Aviators. He'll take the face off. Minima and Green on defense. Schauer pokes this one into the corner. Williston sends it behind their own net. They'll send this one up the glass around the far side. Able to chip it past Charlie. Comes out into the neutral zone. Fiala will pick it up. He backhands one through the middle, trying to get it up to Schauer. Tied up at the blue line here. It comes loose. Williston trying to get on it. It'll be picked up by Fiala. Fiala skates it to the near side. Takes a hit along the boards. Williston steals it back. They work it down the zone. Shots in on right into the belly of Blake. He'll hold on to those ones. Gets the whistle, and we're going to face off down here in the Aviators' end. So 2 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Second period here. 1-1 hockey game between the Aviators and Williston. Seffi's line out there for the Aviators. Push forward here by Williston to get a shot off there. Blake had to kick that one into the corner. Behind the net, picked up by Wyatt Bye. Feeds one over to Caden Yana. Chips up the wall, trying to get to Seffi. Seffi with some speed, splits through a couple different Williston players down the left side. Shots in on, rings off the goal post, right over the goaltender's head. Unfortunately for her, it went over to the far side. Here's Fargo, turnaround attempt. His stick breaks. Williston gets control. Out of the zone they come. 4-on-2 if they hurry. Down the right side, working on Bye. Behind the net. Tipped off the boards, gets it over to Wyatt. Wyatt tied up along the wall. Williston digs that one loose. Yana comes in to help out. Seffi trying to get control now. Williston dumps this one down below the goal line. Looks like a couple players will go for a change. Benson will pick it up. He chips up the wall, gets to Kulak. Bouncing puck will come out into the neutral zone. Williston still with control though. Out into the zone. Shot sent on, goes off a Bye's skate over to the far side. Another shot from the point. Right into the glove of Blake. He holds on, and we'll get a face-off. So a minute and 4 seconds to go here, second period. Defensive zone face-off here for the Aviators. I'll send out the Nicholson line. Kulak and Berg. Jackson and Henderson on defense. Nicholson to take the face-off. One back by Nicholson. Jackson will chase after it. Tied up in the corner. Sends one up the wall. Williston steals that one. They center one. It comes right to Henderson. Henderson chips one forward. Goes off Kulak's stick. Williston able to turn it back, but Nicholson gets one right back to Kulak, but stolen away by Williston player. Big hit there by Berg. As Jackson feeds that one up to Nicholson. Jackson follows it up, but couldn't quite get there in time, and Williston will turn it right back in, now dumping it down into the Aviators' end. Picked up by Henderson as he goes behind the net. Battle for it along the wall here. Looks like Williston will get control. Henderson Steals that one away. Now pushes the player into the boards. Kept in at the blue line. Comes over to Daxon. He chips one forward. Gets it over to Henderson. Henderson slips around one Williston player. Loses his edge. Dumps it down in, though, as he's laying on his side. Goaltender stops it off for his defenseman. Berg putting some pressure on here. They're able to chip it up the wall. Now through center ice. Daxon trying to defend here. Williston got by, though. Henderson comes over trying to make a big hit. Puck over skated there by both teams. Berg's able to chip it out in the neutral zone, but that's the end of the second period. A 1-1 hockey game. And we're going to stay out here. We already resurfaced after period one. So a big period there for the Aviators. Obviously got a lot of help with penalty calls, but we're able to get one in the back and then on a strong effort by Nick Henderson, the captain of this team, tying this game up at 1. As we head to the final 17 minutes, Aviators are going to have to be smart here, stay out of the box, keep the pressure on, get shots on this goaltender. He does leave some rebounds out there. Get bodies, get sticks to the net. And try to limit any of the dumb plays or relaxing too much anytime they start to take a little bit of a break in the middle of a period. Most teams capitalize on that. But it makes it tough. But we'll see how the Aviators come out for this one. I know the coaches and the players both want to get back in that win column. There's only one more regular season game left out of town, and then we get into that playing game. So not much time left. I'm going to step away for a real quick second. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Third period, both teams headed out to the face-off dot. It'll be the Fiala line for the Aviators. Out there is Ryder Blasky and Jordy Schauer. Wyatt by Benson Baum on defense. Blake Baskai in net. We are underway. This one back to Benson. Kicks it to himself. Skates down the far side. Dumps it down into the corner. Fiala gets on it. Goes behind the net. Takes a look. Trying to send it up the wall to Wyatt. Wyatt able to keep it in. Williston able to chip it right back out, though. Benson gets to it first. Sends it up the wall. Williston regains control. Schauer comes over and steals it away. Dumped down in by Fiala. Fiala down the right side. Brings it into the zone. Caught up in the corner. Lost the handle on it. Gets it back, though. Kicks over to Schauer. Schauer from behind the net. Feeds over to Blasky out front. Trying to gather up. Here's Fiala. Fiala back of the net. Sent one off the goaltender. It looked like it went off the pipe as well, but somehow pinballed around back there and ends up in the back of the net. And the Aviators take the lead 2-1 quickly into this third period. Bodies out front. Sticks out front. Opportunities created. Fiala cleaning up the rebound, bearing it in the back of the net. And the Aviators take the lead. Steffi's line comes out for the Aviators. She'll take the face-off out there with Mason Fargo and Caden Yana. Yana gets taken down. Little John over there on the far side. Dumped down by Williston. Picked up by Benson. He skates this one down the near side, pushes into the zone. Williston sends one. Oh, jeez, bad. I got tipped by Mason Fargo up and out of play. Looks like everybody's all right. We say watch for flying pucks. That one came out quickly and landed out the top of the bleachers here. Looks like everybody's smiling and is okay. They threw that puck back out on the ice. Almost a minute played here into the third period. 2-1 lead for the Aviators. Seffi to take the face off, one back by Williston, but chipped in by Mason Fargo. Seffi gets control, works it to the middle, tried to get a shot off, got tied up a little bit there. Sent out to the point, kept by Miedema. Miedema sends it down the wall, gets it to Seffi. Seffi shots in on goaltender, had to fight that one off. Fargo comes over to the wall. Big hit along the boards there. Kick loose, comes to Seffi. Seffi shot on through traffic. Goaltender makes the save. Giannis spins around, takes a whack at it. Williston took a little offense to that, but both teams skate away and we won't end up with any penalties. And we're going to face off down here in the Williston end. 26 to 18 advantage in the shot department here for the Aviators. They lead 2-1 on the board as we got 15:44 to go in this third period. They were trailing 1-0. They're able to battle back, tie it up in that second period, and now take the lead right away here in the third period. Berg gets blasted behind the net. Nicholson pokes that one away, but Wilson's able to dump it down. This one will go for icing. Blake will fire this one back down. We're going to face off back down in the Williston end. Nicholson out there with Owen Berg and Jace Kulak. Norby and Henderson on defense. One back comes to Daxon. Daxon sends one towards the net, bounces over Berg. Berg sends it back down low. Try to get it to Nicholson. It actually jumps over his stick, gets it over to Kulak. Kulak tried to send it back down low, but Williston gets control, and they'll try to skate this one out. Berg trying to steal it away. It'll be Kulak that gets it. Kulak trips up the player. Williston looking for a call. No call there. Kulak gets knocked off the puck. Back comes Wilson. Daxon steps up, keeps the play out in the zone. Dumped down behind the net. Stopped there by Blake. He gets it over to Henderson. Henderson got it to whoever that was, Berg, but we end up getting offsides anyways on Williston. We'll get a quick whistle and a face-off here just outside of the Aviators' end. 14:49 to play, third period. 2-1 lead for the Aviators. Fiala line comes out, take the face-off. It'll be Mason, Jordy, and Ryder, as always. Henderson and Norby on defense. Henderson picks this one up, goes below the goal line, feeds it up to Shower. Shower off the near side, feeds it up to Fiala. That got knocked back by Williston, back into the zone. Daxton steps up, had it poked around him. Henderson's going to cover for him. Blasky coming down as well. Short side pass, stopped there by Daxton. Takes a look, sends one across the ice. That one off a couple players. They feed it down low below the goal line. Somehow slip it through Blake's leg into the back of the net, and they tie this one back up at 2 here. Just a simple pass across the ice there. Got tipped off of a skate, led to a player behind the defense. Jackson trying to recover to help out his goaltender, but unfortunately able to get Blake moving, opening up the 5-hole there a little bit, sneaking one in the back of the net. So a 2-2 game here with 14:23 to play. Seffi taking a face-off. Wins that one back to Benson, up to Yana. Dumped in. Wilson sends it back out. Wyatt trying to give it off to Mason Fargo. It'll get pushed back down the Aviators' end. Picked up here by Benson. Sends it up the wall to Fargo. Tipped off of his stick, comes out of the point. Shot sent on, bouncing puck right in on Blake. He's able to cover that one up. And we're going to face off down here in the Aviators' end. So Seffi's line staying out there, take the face off here. Wyatt and Benson on defense. Sent over to the sidewall, picked up by Benson. Sends one off the wall, trying to get up to Seffi. Wilson will get control. They got a guy in the slot. He gets covered up finally. Benson steals that one away, tied up behind the net. Walks away, they get it over to Fargo. Fargo centering pass gets to Yana. Yana chips it down in. Arm up, though. And we'll get an icing call here on the Aviators. And a face-off back down in their end. A 2-2 hockey game here with 13:45 to play in this third period. Nicholson's line out to take the face off. Wilson pushes this one forward, controlled in the corner. They'll dump it back out to the blue line, kept in. Shots it on, gets blocked there by Kulak. Gets around the defense, has one to beat. Cuts it to the middle, gets through him. Brings it in, shots it on, gets partially blocked. He gets hit into the corner. Picked up by Berg, sends it out to Bai. Bai can hold the zone there. Benson will pick it up. This one headed towards Blake. Blake has an issue with his skate. Trying to get a whistle here, I believe. Looks like he's got a busted strap on the bottom. This one dumped all the way down. No ice, they say. Williston will get control. We'll keep an eye on Blake here as he's got a busted strap. He won't be able to move very well. This one brought in by Williston down the near side. Shots in on, gloves that one, wants to get the break. Figure out his skate issue here. We'll have a short little break here as we wait for Blake to get his equipment fixed. Looks like he's just got to retie the lace that's underneath his skate here. Look, may have broke off a little bit, I'm not sure. About 12:57 to go here in the third period as Blake looks like he's got the problem solved. Just putting the pad back on. 29-22 advantage in the shot department here for the Aviators. But tied up 2-2 on the scoreboard. Looks like Blake's all set. Just throwing on the gloves real quick. We'll get this game back underway. Fiala's line out there for the Aviators now. Blake is set, push forward here, but stolen away by Fiala. Hands it off to Shower. Lost the puck there. Push over into the far corner. Easton Green will try to chase it down. Wilson gets there first. Battle forward below the goal line. They try to center one. Comes to Fiala right here. Feeds it up to Shower. Shower over to Blasky. Blasky dumps this one in down below the goal line. Goalie drops it off for the defenseman. They ring it around up the near side. Miedema has to retreat. Misplayed along the wall here, but Wilson will get it out far side. Fiala trying to steal that away as they dump this one in on Blake. He'll elect to just cover this one up. We're going to face off down in the Aviators' end. Nicholson's line looks like comes out, or excuse me, Seffi's line. Caden Yana and Mason Fargo for the Aviators. Henderson Norby on defense. This one picked up by Seffi. Skates it up, gets it out into center ice, hands it off to Yana. Yana skates it forward. He slips a couple checks, dumps this one in, sends it off the glass, goes down below the goal line. Mason Fargo chase after it. He tries to send it out to the point, but stolen away by Williston. Yana there with a good stick, but Williston was still with control, dumps it down into the corner. Seffi goes after it, picks it up behind her own net. Williston trying to steal it away, comes loose to Yana. Yana had his pass taken away. Williston able to send it down below, gets it to Henderson. Now Mason Fargo, centering pass. Knocked away by Henderson, pushes this one forward, knocks it down. Brings it into the zone down the right side, has Caden Yana out front. Feeds it out front, Yana back of the net. What a pass there by Henderson, and what a shot by Caden Yana. Gets it up and over the stick of the defenseman. Finds Yana all alone out front. Yana, no mistake there. Buries it in the back of the net. Aviators regain the lead 3-2 here with 11:39 to play in the third period. Nicholson line comes out for the Aviators. Kulak and Berg as the wingers. Henderson and Norby on defense. Henderson having a game. Goal and assist now. For sure that I know about. He may even have another assist, but doing the work there, finding Caden Yana up front. Tied up along the boards. Wilson will bring this one in. Daxon cuts over. They have a couple of guys out front. Shot sent on. Nice block there by Daxon. Goes over into the corner. Comes out to the point. Wilson able to keep it in. They'll backhand this one down the wall. Kulak trying to get this one up and out. Big body there out at the blue line, but Wilson has control. They slow things up. They try to dump it back out to the point. Comes loose to Daxon. He tries to chip it up. We'll get out in the neutral zone. Wilson will have to regroup. They send it over to the far side, work it up the right side, but stolen away by Berg. He backhands it back out in the neutral zone. Wilson gets onside, dumps it down in. Stopped there by Blake for his defenseman, Henderson. Henderson, a little bit of a reverse there. Misplayed. Taken away by Wilson. They sneak it out front. Somehow get a shot off and find the back of the net. Tying this game up 3-3. Williston answering right back there after the goal by the Aviators. tying this one up with 10:46 to play in the third period. So Fiala's line coming up for the Aviators. Take the face off here at center ice. Mason to take the face off, pushes that one forward. Williston gets control. Sent down. Benson backhands one up the wall. Wilson returns it, comes right back to Benson. Benson through the middle, knocked off of a Wilson skate. Shower comes over to pick it up. Feeds it back over to Benson. Benson looks, sends it up the wall to Fiala. Tipped in, goes off the side of the net, almost comes out front. Misplayed there. Blasky steals it away. He gets knocked off the puck. Gets it right back though. Sends it back out to Benson. Benson shot. Gets blocked by a toe of a Wilson defenseman. Shower with a big hit in the corner. Wilson trying to send this one on the neutral zone. Gets it to wide by at the red line. He sends it back to Shower at the blue line. Sent back in, but off sides. And we're going to face off here just outside of the Williston end. Seffi's line comes out to take the face off. Mason Fargo to her right. Caden Yana to her left. By and Benson on defense. Seffi to take the face off. Wins this one. Tied up at the dot. Gets pushed into the Williston end. They get control. They'll speed this one back out in the neutral zone. A little bit off the mark. Benson turns that one back up. Gets it to Seffi. Seffi gets knocked down. Caden Yana putting the pressure on. They get it out into the neutral zone again. Sent over to the wide by. He chips it up the wall. Gets it to Yana. Yana backhands one in. Mason Fargo chases this one down in the corner. Knocks down a player. Picked up by Seffi. Feeds it back to Mason Fargo. He tried to center that one. Went off a stick behind the net. Yana trying to steal this one away along the boards. But Wilson able to work it out. And now down into the Aviators' end. Down into the corner. Centering pass. Whiffed on there. Seffi gets it back. Sends it up the wall. Gets it to Mason Fargo. Centering pass goes off a stick. Bounces out into the neutral zone. Yana will go for a change. Out comes Berg. Off goes Seffi. Out comes Nicholson. Sent forward there by Wyatt. Berg will chase after this one, put the pressure on. Nicholson will hang out a little bit back as Kulak joins play. Sent forward here by Williston. Shot sent on, kicked away there by Blake. Kulak, big bump before he picked up the puck. Benson thought he had it, but got his pocket pick. Shot sent on there, blocked it away by Blake. Picked up by Benson. Sends it up the wall, trying to get to Kulak. That sent out to the point. Shot sent back in. Lots of traffic there in front of Blake. Going to make a big save there. Puck loose again. Blake able to cover this one up. Gets the whistle, and we're going to face off down in the Aviators' end. So shots starting to even up here. Wilson making a little bit of push here in the last couple minutes. Aviators still leading in the shot department, 30-28. That gap is closing, and we're tied up 3-3 here with 8:37 to play. Face off one forward here by Williston. They have control down in the corner. Nicholson trying to steal away. Kulak as well. They dump it down below the goal line. Picked up by Easton Green. Sends it up the wall. Gets to Berg. Centering pass comes to Nicholson. Nicholson able to chip it out in the neutral zone. Tied up at the red line. Pushed down in the Aviators' end. Stopped here by Easton Green. He skates it forward. Hands off to Nicholson. Williston takes it away. Shots it on. Gets blocked there by Berg. Battle for it behind the net. Miedema trying to poke it away. Williston works it over the near side now to the point. Shots it on. Goes off his Shower stick. Never made it past the top of the circle there, but Williston's able to work it down low. Centering pass comes out front. Big glove save there by Blake. Player didn't get a solid shot off, but it looked like it was just going to tip up and over Blake, but he somehow flashed his glove over there and was able to make that save. Keeps the puck out of the back of the net. Keeps staying strong for his team. 7:55 to go here, third period. Fiala line out. One back by Williston to the point. A little miscommunication between the defensemen there as Daxon comes over to the boards, chips this one up to the blue line, but not out. They say it stayed in. Henderson grabs it at the goal line, sends it up to Blasky. Blasky sends it to the middle over to Fiala. Fiala into the zone, has Shower headed to the net. Shot sent on. Goaltender fought that off with the arm. Not sure if it hit the stick or the blocker. Comes up to the point. Henderson able to keep it for a moment. Now it comes out. Blasky gets on side. Henderson doing a nice job of tying up the man. Fiala comes over and steals it away as he dumps it down into the corner. Big hit in the corner there. Blasky comes to join it, trying to dig it out. It'd be Williston that gets it, though. Knocked away by Shower as Fiala get on it on the near side. Sent out to the point. Henderson shots in on that. Didn't miss by much. Over to the blue line. Was able to keep it in. Overskate a little bit. Shower sends one back down in the corner. It'll come over to Fiala. Glove down there by Wilson. Out they come as Shower went for a change. Fargo joins the play here, but Wilson has control and brings it in the zone. Big hit there. Picked up by Henderson. Chips it forward. Gets up to Fiala, but he's gassed. Needs to go for a change. Dump back down. This will go all the way down for icing. They say no ice. They say Daxon could have played it, I guess. Benson sends it up, gets it to Fargo, over to Seffi. Knocked off of her stick, pushed forward by Fargo down in the zone. Seffi slips around one check. Lost the handle on, but Fargo gets control. Uses his big frame, works it down low, lost the handle on it. Seffi trying to get it back. Here's Yana takes a shot. That one didn't miss by much either. Up and over the net. Tied up in the corner. Seffi in there trying to dig it out with Mason Fargo getting tied up. Yana comes over to try to seal off this side. Comes out to the point. Jumps over Benson's stick and a race for it. By trying to help out. Does a nice job. Knocks that off of the Williston stick. But they bring it right back in. Trying to work this one in the middle. Shots it on. Kicked away by Blake into the corner. By gets on it first. Tries to push it over to Seffi. Williston steals it away. Brings it right up front. But Benson's able to take this one away. Backhands one over to Yana. Yana will get this one through the middle. Trying to send it back to Benson. Aviators going for a change. Back comes Williston. Shots it on. Big save there by Blake. Over into the corner. Benson pushes up the wall. Gets it up to Kulak. Not out though. Williston able to keep it in. Down the left side. Benson trying to poke it away. Williston still with the puck. Lost the handle on it. Comes over to Berg. Sent through the middle. Not quite out. Nicholson able to clear the zone. Williston with it. Knows they have a player in the zone. He couldn't quite get out. As much as he tried to crawl and dive and do everything he could. But either way, unable to get out of the zone and offsides on Williston. We're going to face off here. Looks like right in front of us. So we got a tie. They're a tie game, 3-3 here between Grand Forks and Williston. 5 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Nicholson's line out there to take the face off. Nicholson wins this one forward, gets tripped up, picked up by Berg. Knocked off of his stick, does end up going down on the Williston end. Goaltender sets it off for his defenseman. They send one up the wall, come out to Miedema. Miedema will just dump it down, gets to Berg. Berg lost the handle. Williston gets control in the middle. They try to chip this one out. Comes bouncing out. Neutral ice, knocked down, brought in by Williston. Shot sent on traffic, but blocked there by Easton Green. Williston steals it back. Working it off the sidewall there. Big hit by Berg. Berg kicks it to himself. I'll try to get this one on the zone. He will. Here's a chance for Kulak behind the defense. Brings it in. Goalie comes out to meet him. Pushes it back out in the neutral zone. Picked up by Berg. Berg knocks it off a Williston player's stick. Brought into the zone down the near side. Shot through traffic. It's blocked by Miedema. Good stick there by Miedema. Knocks it away. Shot sent on. Goes wide. Nets off. Shot sent on. Blake was upset that they didn't blow the whistle right away and just gave it a good shove. Seen that last week when Dom did it. But happens after the whistle, nothing the refs can do about it. We saw that in the red versus blue game, trying to get a delay of game, but it's only if the play is still going on, not once the whistles happen. So 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Shots tied up 30-30. Goals tied up 3-3. Third period, just over 4 minutes to play. Shots in on, gets blocked, goes well wide. Blasky coming over to try to steal some away. The defenseman for Williston gets it. Referee looked like he got taken out on that play a little bit, so he gets back on his feet. This one sent up to Fiala off of his stick down into the Williston end. Shower trying to keep it in at the blue line. Does. He'll turn around and dump it down into the corner. Sent through the middle here. Comes out of the neutral zone. Stopped by Henderson. Waits for his teammates to get on side. Henderson works it into the zone. Sends that one on net. Goaltender gloves it. Holds on, and we'll get a face-off here. Down in the Williston end. So it'll be Seffi's line coming up for the Aviators. Caden Yana to her right, Mason Fargo to the left. Nick Henderson and Daxon Norby on defense. Push forward here by Williston. This one will go all the way down, rolling puck on its edge. Might hit the boards just right. They'll say no ice, I guess. Sent out to the point. Shot sent on. Goes off a stick high up into the netting. And we're going to whistle a face-off here on the far side of the Aviators' defensive zone here with 3:32 remaining third period. So Seffi will take the face-off. Williston sending out some fresh legs here. Face up, tied up, comes out to the point. Caden Yana. Williston sends it into the zone, goes picked up by Seffi. She gets almost lost that one right in front of her own net. Dexton sends with the wall to the point. They turn this one back in, gets tipped and sent over to the far side. Now right in the high slot, shots it on. Big save there by Blake. Goes right into his glove, holds on to that one. That one might have changed direction on him a little bit. Was able to make the save and dive out there and get that glove on it, get the much needed whistle for his team. And we're going to face off here, far side of the Aviators defensive end again. Here's Nicholson's line comes out. Luke will take the face off. Tied up a dot. Benson digs that one out. Comes out to Kulak. Kulak slips around one player. Gets over the red line, dumps it in, takes a hard hit along the boards. Owen Berg puts a big hit along the boards as well. Kulak gets his revenge as it comes out to Wyatt. He sends it up the wall. Nicholson makes a move, chips it down in the corner, gets sealed off a little bit, trying to steal this one away in the corner, caught up in his skates. Owen Berg in there as well. They send this one up the point. It comes out to Wyatt. Wyatt just dumps it back down low. Berg goes behind the net to pick this puck up. Feeds it over to Nicholson. Nicholson backhand shots it on. It got through the goalie's leg, but the defenseman made the save as Benson's able to keep that one in the zone. Williston elects to just dump this one down, but knocked down by Benson. He has to retreat into the neutral zone. Sends this one up to Nicholson. Nicholson dumps it down into the Williston end. Schauer will go chase after. Blasky will join him here in a second. They change direction here. Blasky almost stealing that one away. That one sent through the middle, comes right to Mason Fiala. Williston chips this one down and a roll in on Blake. He slows it down, hands it off to Benson. Benson behind his own net. Just under 2 minutes to play. Off a Schauer stick. Williston gets control. Fed over to the near or far side. Benson able to chip that back out in the neutral zone. Williston will dump it back in, but off sides. We're going to face off, looks like right in front of the Aviators bench as a player for Williston just went off, took a big hit along the boards. Looks like he might have had that wind knocked out of him. He's laying down on the floor behind their backup goalie. Their coaches hasn't had time to come look at him yet. Now he finally does as the play gets started. Send up the wall. Blasky sends it over the near side, trying to get it to Schauer. Schauer will pick it up. Gets this one forward, brings it in the zone, dumps it in. Takes a hit at the blue line. Blasky will get on it first behind the net. Took the stick right from the defenseman, works it out front, lost the handle on it. Backhands it over to Mineva, but that was stolen away by Williston. They'll skate this one back down. Down into the corner. Williston slowing things down. They send up the wall, get it to Fiala. Schauer cutting through the middle. A couple of players battling down in the zone. Easton Green doesn't have a stick. Shots in on. Goaltender kicks it into the corner. Now the Williston player and Green are up. Blasky shots in on, gets blocked, goes up and over. Minema slows it down at the point, sends one towards the net. Comes in the slot. Here's Blasky. Shots in on, goes wide. Fiala along the wall, tried to fire one on, whiffed on that one. Williston will gather it up. Henderson and Minema, the defenseman. Henderson trying to steal this one away, gets it caught in his skate, sticks laying there. Shot sent on back of the net. Somehow got lost. Player was able to just find it and poke at it, and it ended up going in the far side of the net, and it's a 4-3 lead here with 29 seconds to play in the third period for Williston. Seffi's line coming out for the Aviators. Take the face off. Looks like timeout called here by the Aviators. They're going to need to win this face off right away. Get the momentum moving towards the Williston end. Get Blake off of the ice, get the extra attacker out there. They will only have 29 seconds to work with, so not a lot of time. Possession is the name of the game. Can't just start throwing things around, but do need to get pucks and bodies to the net. Well, back and forth game, just like we saw between these two teams. I believe it was in the Grand Forks home tournament. The first game of that one, I think it was against Williston. I think it was like a 3-2 game, so it was kind of the same way, back and forth, lead changes, stuff like that. But Williston able to take the lead here with just a few seconds left. About 30 seconds to play here. You see Blake head to the bench as soon as he can, but the Aviators will have to get the face-off win, right? One back by Williston. They play pitch and catch. They're bringing it into the zone, down the far side. Dumped into the zone, picked up by Daxton behind his own net. Tries to send it up the wall. I got tipped by a stick. Comes loose up to Seffi. She tries to cut to the middle. Stolen away by Williston. Backhanded down the middle. Picked up by Bantam. Only about 10 seconds to play. Sends it up to Yana. Yana works it in and out. Backhands one down in the zone. Only about 5 seconds. They finally get Blake off the ice. Comes over to the near side. Daxton turns, fires one, sends one towards the net. But not enough here. A little pushing and shoving at the end. But Williston wins this one 4-3. The Aviators battled hard throughout that whole game. We're down 1-0, came back. Made it 2-1. Got tied up 2-2, made it 3-2. Williston was able to tie it up 3-3 and then get the victory, with just 29 seconds left in this one. Aviators will fall to 0-3 on this weekend. Not the weekend they were hoping for. We need to have a good game against Grafton, the number 1 seed in the East, on Tuesday, and then find out where they sit and where they go for the playing game next weekend. We'll keep you updated on all those games. I'll get the game for Tuesday put up. That'll be live streamed, and then we'll figure out when the playing game will be, whether it be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday next week, and we'll get that put up on there as well. Either way, as always, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.